Hi, and welcome to the section on advanced Dart language features. Good job already. We have learned already a lot. In this section, we're going to look at more advanced Dart language features. These features are very specific towards Dart, and not every programming language will have such equivalent features. Also, we will see how to build a factory constructor. What are formal and optional parameters? Then, we need to work with the null-aware feature and mixin. Now we move on to the first video of this section that deals with factory constructor. In this video, we're going to learn about factory constructor, how to create multiple objects, and we will show you how a factory constructor looks like and how you can use it. In class-based programming, the factory pattern is a creational pattern that uses factory constructor to deal with the problem of creating objects without having to specify the exact class of the object that will be created. The object that has been created is the type of the factory constructor. Every object that can be created extends from the object with this factory constructor. Or, like on the slide, car has a factory constructor. This constructor will create a Mercedes, Opel, Renault, and gives a car object back to the caller of the factory constructor of car. In our example, we're going to create a factory constructor in the encounter class. So, first of all, we need to have a lot of encounter classes. Then, we will put all our encounter classes into a separate folder. Angel.dart, for example, is the new encounter class. We also have the drunken sailor, goblin, nothing, and the vampire. Now, let us create a factory constructor in our encounter class. We will generate a random number that is our decision maker, which will help us in determining what object we are going to create and return. Do you remember the switch statement, which we will use here to determine the encounter implementation that we will return? But you will notice that we have some errors in our application by implementing this. This means we need to adapt our classes that extend from encounter. First of all, we need to add this private constructor. Now, in all our classes that extend encounter, we need to add a constructor that will reference to the private constructor of encounter. This constructor has been set to private for the factor pattern to work, but our end user doesn't need to use this constructor. Whenever a user wants to instantiate an encounter, he needs to do this through the factory constructor. You can access the constructor by calling the super dot underscore. By doing so, all the errors will disappear. Now, in the environment class, we need to initiate encounter with the call of the constructor of encounter itself instead of bear. Also, in StumbleUpon method, we need to instantiate a new encounter. So every time we encounter StumbleUpon, we will create a new encounter. If you look at the results in your browser, you will see that every time we navigate in our world, you encounter something new. In this video, we have created a factory constructor, and we learned how to use it and adapt all classes that are involved in the factory.